All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So, I see that the administration is seeking contractors and Department of Defense funding. Right. That's great, right, for the immigration mission because it is a national emergency. Correct. Thank you, Larry. So, it pretty much is the issues that I thought were there: staffing and transportation and housing. So one of my issues right now, my left side is relaxed, but my right side tightened up again. So I'm not sure what the full end result will be. I still haven't received any steroids. Again, their psychological operation is psychological torture. And they're going to say it's me, but it's them. Right. And what it did is it blocked me from seeing anything. Because years ago, I had gotten a steroid shot like somewhere around my jaw, but over on this right side. And this right side's real tight. So if I'd have gotten a steroid, I don't understand what the doctors were doing, to tell you the truth. At a certain point, they should have just been trying to locate these tight spots and trying to release them. Right. Thank you, Larry. So I should have been scheduled, in the future for shots as they would be allowed. And then they should have worked around the body hitting these spots. Correct. Now, it's a lot of pain and suffering. Probably, could have been relieved much better. But again, who's responsible? The deep state. And these are government, private sector, narcotics distributors, sex traffickers, all working together to, USAID payments and all that. $1 million here, $1 million there, and they embezzled. Remember, the DoD budget was never accounted for, and they just accepted, it was an accounting error that we didn't have money, or that the money was missing. I mean, there's people out here with businesses. That's why businesses fail. If they run out of money, the free money, then they can't run a business. They're no good at it. They just get tons of government money, or embezzled money, or drug money. There's been no law enforcement effort for decades. It's a free for all. Find a side job where they pay you and commit crimes all day. I was able to release a little bit yesterday. It just didn't feel like it was all there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to completely release and not have any pain or not. I mean, 4 years ago, I should have been able to get there. Right. I couldn't see anything. These people just run around this community doing whatever they want here in Kansas. A free for all to make millions of dollars killing people, disabling people. I thank Senator Moran's people for sending me an email. I'm not going to say they don't exist, but they exist. That's the scam. Did my best to sleep last night, but my right side tightened up and it is just not conducive to sleeping. Now, none of this is necessary. Again, even when you just can't see, because they keep torturing me. It's an act of torture. I mean, they're sick people, man. They get off on it. They get off on hurting people. They say, oh, he's the worst of the worst. That's what they do. They're sickening. Never let me get with a woman to have a normal life. Never get to go to church without some sort of role-playing ruse where, it's not an honest ruse. There is no positive ending that could possibly happen from it. Right. Their idea is, well, he's controlling it if he just do something different. It's a scam. They've been scamming for decades. Federal government, state governments, and local governments included. What they want to do is what they early on did. Well, it's not us, it's just the feds. The feds corrupt, but it turns out the state and federal or state and locals are just as corrupt. That's how the deep state operates. The deep state cannot operate without a state and local part of it. I mean, they're just making people sick all day long and laughing. Some of these people are people I work with. Just sit there forever for 20 years just laughing. That suck thought he was going to get somewhere. This is your government. That's what your government's about. Meanwhile, the real criminals, the real sex traffickers, the real drug distributors are out there just laughing all day with them. Bring a little bit of money. What I hear is the people that did this to me is looking for whoever to pay. They're looking for somebody to pay right now. And they said that's what happened last time. They just paid off a bunch of people. They're going around like, who do we pay to get this thing off our account, It's a bunch of rich people in Kansas running around looking to pay somebody. All we had to do was just stop. It was obvious that they should stop. No, why would we stop? It's fun. That sucks. See, they should call me an MFer now. That's how they handle us. I was feeling a little better yesterday, but it tightened up overnight. But again, I didn't get any steroid shots, and I got to try to get to somebody. It takes insurance. I need several different types of procedures, I imagine, and then get some massage and see if it'll all relax. I just couldn't get to the thought. I mean, I just couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't try to get the massage. I just couldn't break through whatever they were doing. And again, it's real time. I look up massage online, and they're projecting as devils. They're devils, man. God showed me how everything works, but without a planet that's, in subjection to God, then it doesn't work. I mean, we don't even have churches and communities in subjection to God. They're just going to make money doing this crazy shit. Right. Thank you, Larry. So you go to church and they say they're going to bait you. We need a couple women in church to be bait girls. And what they do is they try to turn you on while you're trying to go to church and focus on the church. And of course, you're the sinner for what? Because you're not part of their little clique. Right. Now, I remember years ago, I spent like 6 months locked up, kind of like not locked up, was my body was kind of locked up on the right side around my face. And I had to get a shot somewhere over there. And then he said, pull your jaw down, pull your jaw down. So it's kind of similar but different. Right. It's like further down this time, like more on the shoulder where it attaches into the back and the shoulder. So I couldn't even think. Just get a shot in that section. I mean, all those years. Right. Because they kept torturing me. And of course, they're devils and they're willing things. But I'm a little encouraged because, I mean, the left side isn't perfect, but it's calmed down. I don't know if I release the right, if it creates any type of mess or anything, but we'll see. No, I haven't had any corticosteroid in like 5 years. And even, man, that epidural just felt like bullshit. Because I've had an epidural before. Right. And it just went completely. I mean, everything was too loose. Right. Nothing loose. So for all I know, they paid somebody in the mix to give them like a week corticosteroid. I mean, because it's CIA level type stuff. You know how the CIA can do anything. Well, these people have access like that. And I'm sure there are some CIA people that if the CIA doesn't approve of it, then they're not going to be able to do it. Right. So at least we got one more cold day today before it warms up for a day. It's going to be a cold couple of weeks here, or a week and a half, and then it supposedly warms up. The way I felt yesterday, like after I took what happened is I took. If you ever have problems and you want to relax your body, use arnica with Epsom salt. It's a mix that they sell. I just had Walmart deliver 5 or 6 yesterday. Right. I was using just the Epsom salt. It don't work. Right. Well, because I'm not taking I don't want to mess my stomach up, so I'm not taking an Advil. It's kind of like soaking in Advil, but it's a natural type of thing. Right. So it works pretty good. So the way I felt yesterday afternoon, I thought there was a chance that I could, I'll be able to get to my appointments now. I mean, you go back 2 years, you go back 3 years. I mean, why were they allowed to even be around me? Why were cops allowed to be corrupt? I mean, they're doing it right now. And part of it is they're inside as devils. And they're like, it's like a witch's coven, but it's, inside in the mind projecting. So what happens is, like, I couldn't see it before. It would just happen, and it's like, how does this, like a panic attack, right? But how did it happen? It's them. I can hear them now, or at least sense them. So they have a series of things that they go through in their mind to torture a victim. And because you let them stalk me, they can connect and do that. But if I could have saw it before, I'd have figured it out. No, they need to be gone, man. I mean, gone. I mean, if they drive off the road today, we'd all be the better for it. But like everything came together after I took that bath a little bit. I mean, there's still an issue, but again, I haven't gotten any steroid shots, and I can't tell what the end result's going to be. Well, it looked like the right side was still irritated, so I was trying to figure out. But I remember when I got the massages, it all fit together. But it would just, it was almost too loose. That's the problem, is getting that happy medium. Right. Again, that was the first release, and there was no steroid involved. When they do the steroid, it stays longer. Right. It doesn't bunch back up again as quick. I mean, I just left the government to go to church and meet a woman. And that was my plan, my, short-term plan. And the short-term being, as long as it took a year or two, whatever it was. Right. That was it. And believe me, the people that I talk about are devils. So your devils were telling you that it wasn't safe for me to be in church or some shit. I mean, don't make any sense. And they're crunching my body for 20 years, man. Not giving a shit about nothing. Getting rich off of it. Driving big vehicles and laughing. Buying big houses and laughing. Easy money. Ha 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 ha. It's in here in Kansas. They're doing it right here in this neighborhood. Overland Park. Olathe. But they do it everywhere else that I've been also. They move in if it's not there. Torturing people all day long and they laugh about it. Just say, oh, they're just Asian. Like right now, they willed against something I need to put to apply the lotion to my back. They see me on Amazon. I didn't order it. Fucking, they're all sickos. You see, they're trying to get me to curse. I'm trying to get them away. But you know what? That's where the curses go, to a real curse. I mean, they're sickos. So they're trying to get me to use curse words, general curse words, like American English curse words. But it eventually goes to a curse. They're like so stupid. A little bit sick this morning. I mean, the apartment's probably sick. So, of course, the thing is, I don't know if you know, about 4 a.m., it's really 5 a.m., that's when the allergens increase. Oh, God. See, now the pain's starting. I don't know if it's what it's related to. There is no please any of you. Y'all not supposed to be part of anything that does anything that you're all doing. There is no please. Yeah, I'm trying to get this thing up for same day delivery. Oh, shoot. I'm just not comfortable sitting down and laying down, so I walk around my apartment and broadcast all day. That's what it's going to be from now on. Not saying no. All right, they're in the middle. Let's try to clear the air so I can order this stuff. look at something real quick. Yeah. Probably think I have to take a bath soon. It's going to be pretty expensive taking all these baths, but if it works, you know what I mean. No, they weren't supposed to be in my life like this. There's no way. Now, I came out of government. I didn't say nothing. I was just, trying to get to a church, and that's it. And that's the thing they didn't want. They'd already come against me going to a church. While I was in the government, the Marshall Hughes was part of it. He was the face person in the church to show that this is where it was going. So what happens is one of their people show up. It's like a criminal enterprise. They go and quote, Marshall came and saw me in church, quote unquote. Right. Had no business whatsoever being there, but he was a crook, man. He crooked his whole life. Had all these big, muscle cars and shit, big house. Supposedly his son was a dope dealer and they kicked him out of the DAA. Just like his father. Sitting in government dealing dope. Of course, the Marshal won't me around. I was an honest employee. Right. But, I thought these people were somewhat decent people, and I went to the Sikhs, but, his son was working as a contractor for the Sikhs, but his son's working for a contractor for a sex cult. Probably a sex cult for the CIA. Right. Well, that's how they dirty people. Right. But it's run like a criminal enterprise. All that embezzling all those years. All you do is let me live a peaceful life. I even told him, I said, don't affect my health, because it'll change. They're devils, man. They live inside as devils. But again, they do devil things out. Trying to fill this tub up, I'm going to definitely need to get in there and try to relax again. Again, just even the stretch would tighten your body up. Right. I mean, repeated stress every day. 20 years at least? No, 30 years at least. They're trying to minimize the time that somebody was involved in it. It was already happening in the Bureau of Prisons while I worked there, and of course, a couple of times in the military. Meanwhile, criminals are just living a life of Raleigh, taking over the country, dealing drugs, and worse. Well, my right side's still crunched a bit, but I got to relax and release a little bit. But I remember with the massage, it was releasing. So, I'm not a professional massage therapist, so I can only do a little bit to my body to get it to release. I just wish I had the money to bring somebody in quietly to my apartment and to have them do the massage here. Right. It was weird, too weird in these places I was going to. Who knows what kind of debauchery they're all into. Right. Making deals with devils and criminals and everything else. Here's the point: these people in churches are devils. I only could order the small bags of arnica and Epsom salt, which was weird. They'll get in there and they'll block ordering stuff. But Johnny Hughes was definitely a devil. Right. And when Jimmy Spicer's wife tried to protect him, because I know how they work, I'm like, oh shit, he's part of it for sure. Well, like I said, I took muscle relaxers years ago in Naples, and when I used to take Flexeril, I took Flexeril the first time it happened, and then only for a little bit. I don't take it that long, right? And then got the steroid shot. Like 6 months later, went back to Naples, and the guy's like, "Here." Right. Then I went to. I took it when it happened in Naples the next time, but I couldn't take it. I wake up screaming. But I had been already terrorized a couple more years in Naples. Now, these are terrorizing operations. Just couldn't let me live just a peaceful, quiet life. It's really weird right now because God's showing me views of myself in these time periods. Because at first I'm like, what am I seeing? Who's doing this? Like, this is weird. It's God. It's God showing me that God was right there when I was having a peaceful morning or something. I mean, these people are murderers, man. Stone cold murderers. Have to pay attention to this to make sure I don't let it get cold. And make sure I got the heat up in here. I'm gonna have to take a bath. No, I just couldn't think of nothing all those years. Just couldn't think of nothing. My reaction to their torture was the broadcast. Because you have to do something. You can't just sit there. Being tortured in my own country. And then they go, thank you for your service. I'm like, what? Bullshit. Meanwhile, all these dirty cops getting rich, working for drug dealers, narcotics distributors, sex traffickers. Guess that's the same thing. Drug dealers and narcotics distributors. I don't know. I bought this stuff off the arnica off Amazon, a certain type, and it just don't seem to be working as well. This is one I bought at Walmart. I mean, it just boggles the mind. That just shows you what they did to me. Like, you would just normally luck into some sort of doctor. Like, oh, I'm going to call this doctor and go. Like, the whole time I was in Santa Fe. Never got a steroid treatment. Right. Right. Same thing in the next few cities. Well, actually, Amarillo, it started happening, but and Tyler, but it didn't seem to be anything. And I couldn't see how to heal myself. Like, what was actually wrong? And they got me to do some physical therapy for a short period of time, and it just it just made me sicker. It was like the wrong thing. I don't know. My right side of my body is so sore right now. I was able to get the pain going yesterday for a bit. I mean, I can feel it on my right side of my body now. I'm into my cranial tissues, and like I remember this being in Oklahoma City. I couldn't even think of it, like what to do about it. Didn't even have a thought. I thought maybe it was just some congestion. Oh, they beat me up in Oklahoma City. They're not Christians at all. Oklahoma is not a Christian state. They're fake. They're running a deep state. I got to shine, my glasses, look, and I can see that it's true. The Lord gave me a sign. I don't seek after signs generally; they just show up. But if I seek after a sign, it's usually to heal something, and I don't think the Lord would be angry at that. Right? When they talk about an evil generation that seeks after a sign, that's kind of a selfish sign. Right? Versus, if I'm trying to figure out how to heal somebody and I look for a sign on how to heal them, right? That's the Lord. That's something different. They tried to use that years ago against me. It's an evil generation seeking after a sign. Well, you're seeking after a sign. Yeah, but I'm trying to do good works. I'm not sitting there trying to rip off the world like all of you. Try to control some of those people that rip off the world that come from other nations here. The president, people, I guess, are looking into moving some funds from the Defense Department. So again, that addresses each one of those needs that I spoke about that I thought may have been an issue. Trying to get it warmer before I get in this bath. Oh, God, that right side is really sore right now. But again, I don't know what the story is with it. My left side's kind of loose and it's not as sore. But it feels like right now I can tell it starts from the top. This right side of this side tightens up sometimes. I mean, it's done it in my life and it's just released. Hopefully it'll release, but it took a steroid. Right. But if it releases, it might pinch a nerve at the bottom, right? Because it may have worn down too much because my back was so tight for so long. Again, I couldn't see anything, even having had stuff happen before. Right? Well, it's because the people are torturing me. And they torture you in relation to something. They torture you in relation to healthcare. They torture you in relation to massage therapy. That's what I told you when I went out trying to get that, I don't know which day it was. Oh, and I went to the doctor and tried to schedule surgery. Next thing I know, they're around me, stalking me with those stupid license plates. And again, there's a lot of torture around it. I know for a fact they put something in my coffee maker that was like an acid that burnt my stomach in relation to one of their people showing up. I know it wasn't in the coffee bag. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it was in the coffee bag. So I go buy coffee, and this is how they get somebody paranoid about being drugged and other stuff. And I was drugged, though. Right? They do it, and then they say you're paranoid. I mean, it's like insane. Right. So the guy, I go online to look up a certain coffee. I see it's at Walmart. I go to Walmart. A guy comes out just as I'm walking in, holds that bag, and looks at it right in front of me. Right. So I go and I'm like, bullshit, and I go buy it. I go back home, I make the coffee, and it burns my stomach. So, that could be, they broke in, just maintenance people there at the place where I lived. They were dirty. Some of them at least. So, they had access. Like I told you, they use maintenance people a lot. See, they're so mad. Everything dropping here. They're devils. They're already in my house. Right. So what I got to do eventually is get rid of all this stuff, my furniture and all that. I'm going to have to offer somebody, because so that way I won't have to pay for it. It's too difficult to sell this drill and this, not difficult, but the Lord says, because of deep state's eyeing me, there's so many ways to get a person to kill me for those items, right? Because they may even have people already prepared that are drug addicts or something like that, or drug dealers, right? And they'll just, as soon as I list it, all those types of people will see it. They'll make them see it and try to drive up the chances that somebody will come here and kill me for it. Right. And they go, oh, it had nothing to do with us. I guess it's just bad luck. I guess I'll try to make a deal with somebody to take as much as I can get them to take. Right. Well, it makes no sense. It's easier to clean the place too if you don't have furniture. Right. I'm not interested in keeping this stuff anymore. No, it's not giving in to them. It just makes more sense. I probably shouldn't have bought so much anyway. I was trying to have a decent life. So if I can get them to help take all this stuff out of here. I bought televisions to use them like a computer screen, but never got to it. So, right. I'll probably give those away with it. I got my 2 phones and a couple tablets, and that'll be it. If they give me my money from the VA and give me my backdated money, I should be able to do something. And in fact, they knew I was seeking long-term care when I was in Tyler. So there's a lot of things that they go through, or analysis that they go through, right, when they do this to a person, and that's part of it, that they would seek long-term care. Like they're right now, they've already demanded that I not go in this bathtub. I was on disability, man. I don't know what they're doing. All those years I was on disability. I'm going to need to try to go in the bathtub, see if I can get this to calm down. Give me a second. I'm going to mount this all somewhere. 24/7 the best I can, close to it, or even a few hours. I'm going to keep broadcasting here for the rest of my life. Isn't that interesting there? See, make sure it's on the microphone. Looks like it's the microphone. Test, 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 test. You turn that volume up a little. No, I ate too much trail mix last night. Got a little stomach issue. But that's what they do. They just keep thinking illness, illness, illness on the person, and then it happens. You all gave me free way in my life. Oh, it's a little too hot. Ooh. I used to be able to take a bath like that. That's all I did when I was in. I mean, I did a lot in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Espanola. I was actually in Espanola in that apartment. And I did a lot to heal. It wasn't just taking some steroids. God, I feel. Woo! But that's the temperature I used to be able to get into. And then kind of make sure and I should have let it go a little bit more. I can't tell you right now how tight I was or loose I was. I know I was cramped up in certain spots. I can't tell you what I was feeling a year ago, 2 years ago, even 6 months ago. I just woke up from what they were doing to me. It's psychological torture. It's like going into a prisoner of war camp. But being in an open community, I've been telling you that for years already. It's a little weird. I mean, it released yesterday, but it tightened back up, and it's really weird tightening. No idea for sure what the hell it's doing. Now, I've helped people my whole life. Even when I got to Santa Fe, the baths weren't as hot, but I was taking regular salt baths. And I was able to get back to it when I got here. Right, yeah, what it's saying is, I'm hearing some of the stuff, again, I'm not hearing, but I'm receiving. I don't know if you know how that works. And it's saying even having your right side tight and your left side loose could cause your spine to pull to one side, again, like a curved spine. That could cause issues. So if you get the one side to release, that curve decreases, and then things get better generally. I hope the Lord heals me, but I got to deal with whatever you all did to my life too. I mean, the Lord is not controlling this planet. Well, why would the Lord tell you that the Lord's not in control on this planet? Why would the Lord tell you that? Like they say, well, that's not necessarily in the scripture, but why would the Lord tell you that? Why would, right? I mean, it's called a bluff. And of course, the Lord was a little more control back then. Now, my right side was totally tight. And I can tell the difference between left and right. Now, I don't know what the end result of that is.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get that to loosen without, fusing the spine and you know what? It just might be killing that nerve too on the ablation thing. Right. But then there's other parts of this. Well, because once it loosens, what's the condition? Right. Now I'm kind of sick today, and sure, I'm remembering back then. See, I was sick then, and they were around me, right, doing their crazy shit. Cops were dirty. Right. So somebody put them up to making complaints about me. Wasn't doing nothing. Except walking around broadcasting. Now I handled that pretty well. Then Dodgy, they kind of knew I wasn't a troublemaker, right? But again, the cops probably used it as a bullshit complaint, right? So one of them was a homeless woman, and the guy that was staying with me that I offered, I said, look, I don't want you to live out of your vehicle. Why don't you live with me for a little while? He had his own. What I did is they had 2 double beds, and what I did was put I had my mic stand. So between each mic stand, I put like some sort of blanket or something. Right. So we had our own private space, kind of. And he knew the homeless woman because he was a homeless person. And he said he used to smoke marijuana. He wasn't smoking inside. I would never let him do that. Right. But he was dealing with health problems. So she apparently made a complaint about me peeping in on her. It's like bullshit. I was just walking like on the, I don't think she was paranoid. They put her up to her, right? Or trying to get me thrown out of there. Anything they can do to cause a disruption. And he told me before that happened, like she came to the place. Trying to think I think he was already living. He would only be there like in the evenings and sleep there, and a lot of times in the day he'd go off somewhere, right? Maybe buy some drug, marijuana or something. Right? Well, nothing other than marijuana as far as I know. And he told me, he said, that woman. Well, actually, first I welcomed, like she arrived. She was taking stuff out of her vehicle. I said, "You need any help, ma'am?" And she's like, "You better be careful. My dog will bite you." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I said, "You need help?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay." Like, well, welcome. Welcome to being here. So somehow the dude started talking about her. And he said that he was smoking drugs with her, marijuana. Right. When they were, I guess, camped near each other or whatever. And one day she just went off on him. And, I don't remember if it was like that he's trying to be sexual when he isn't or whatever. Right. Well, yeah, it does fit, but I'm sure the deep state put her up to it. Right. No, they put him up to make complaints. Put 2 people up to making complaints. But of course, if the deep state hadn't blocked my life, I'd be in a house, my own house. So, she tried to say while I was peeping in her window, I was just walking around the place. I told him, look, I'm going to still broadcast, but I'll walk off into the paved, not the paved area around the hotel. I said, I'll walk over on the road and I'll just do it that way. Oh, man. My right leg is so sore. My back. Oh. I have an appointment to get evaluated for steroid treatment and other things possibly. I should have already been to it. Again, they're willing it down. A lot of times they don't even have to attack their victim, but they'll stalk you while they're willing it down. They're not making sure people are staying, good or straight or whatever it is they're telling you. Is complete opposite. I could barely stay in this tub. They're willing me up out of it. Well, I'm hoping the steroid works. It doesn't have to stay completely released. Like what happened, I think, in Naples is it released too much because the steroid just bloop, everything went bloop. Right. And then finally my back adjusted in. I can't even tell you what my back was like, in Santa Fe at this point. I know felt good and they massaged me and all that and it worked. And I went to Arizona and they did it for a little while. So I gotta get it together enough to call senators, people. I think I was just too crimped up to feel the pain. But I never should have stayed like that. I mean, they just operated me, and that's how it ended up. And they always, I didn't think they're willing against my blood pressure medicine. I mean, I can see after so many years, you can see it, man. You can just like, darn, right? The thing that they operate against and will against, I don't even think I'm going to dry. I just want to make sure it's warm in here. Just let this stuff soak into my body. I just can't stay in there no more. Let's see what's the temperature in there. It's not even 70 degrees yet. Well, you can see you trying to reorder the medicine, and you go from one a day to two a day, and you can't get to it. And of course, they try to convince you, well, you're just doing that conserve. No, they willing it down. I actually believe one every other day would probably be enough, but. Now they were blocking me. I'm almost sure they were blocking me from getting medicine. If the readings were correct, it still doesn't make any sense. Well, the doctor said your blood pressure's like too low to give you medicine. And I mean, it was still high. And like now, if it's like 90 on the bottom, they still say you have high blood pressure. Right. So I got no idea what they were doing. I mean, deep state may have told her don't treat him. Right. I may just tell you, oh, he raped his kids. That's the kind of shit they do. They just say it. They don't care. Yet the person that raped their kids is out there having a millionaire life, a multimillionaire life. Right. Yeah, I just wish I had the money to, I wish this goes quick. I wish they say just do it and they do it. They really owe me. I can't get, I haven't been able to get to doctors and things. And I'm gonna tell the center. I said, look, I know it sounds weird, but again, we can go to the words we used to use. I'm a whistleblower, and I was being harassed by government, but it's deep state. It's at the level of spycraft that they do this. Harass you online, harass you offline. And I guess today we call it the deep state. I'm looking at I guess the pricing data. Some things dropped in price. Eggs are off the chart. Bacon even went up. Bacon and instant coffee. Frozen non-carbonated juices and drinks went up 5.3%. Eggs 15.2. Gotta wonder if somebody's doing it. Right.
Bronze is bringing the heat. Introducing Bronze.
Trying to see it. It's a
Spicy
terrifying
chicken
video shows
sandwiches.
planes that crashes
Flavor
with
this
all 10th
good.
Planet, New Hampshire Airport. Trying to see where that is. Oh, that must be it.
Here in Oklahoma, community is everything. It's where we raise our families, support our neighbors, and help each other through life's toughest moments.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Oklahoma ain't doing anything decent. The flame crash again. That's pretty funny. What happens in that crash is part of it is he goes into a tree, right? Like a catcher's mitt. That happened to me years ago in my vehicle. The Lord kept me alive, kept me and my kids alive. We're about to go, like, at the left side we'd have went into opposing traffic, right? So because we're coming around a turn and the wheel falls off, and there's this line of bushes, and we just go whoosh, just like whoosh into these bushes, and then go across the highway. Right? Yeah, and they had willed a tragedy, and it just didn't happen. The Lord protected. Satan is obviously much more powerful today. There's no sorry that takes care of what you all did to me. It really doesn't. Yeah. Again, what you did to me here got me in this predicament in this apartment. And they were breaking in. So they were monitoring how successful they were. It's break in, nobody cares. Talking about Doge.
What is that? Treasury may have speculated about position. %. Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to screw my head up right now, focusing on me. Hide behind their little cloaking devices with their CIA toolkits or something similar. Well, that judge, he released that buyout program. See, so that that's how that system works. Didn't see a reason to not do it. Right. Well, like I said, you just put them on administrative leave. They may not have known that. So he did find $1,300 coffee cups, 8,000% overpay for soap dispensers. Well, why are they paying that kind of money?
8,000% overcharge for soap dispensers. The Air Force spent $32,000 replacing 25 reheatable cups. Like, I couldn't even remember that I had a tight spot on my body that would not relax without a steroid injection. I still can't remember exactly where the steroid injection went. Right. I just needed probably direct steroid. Right. Oof. I should have took a warm bath before I went to sleep. I was worried about using too much of that stuff, but I probably should have. Kind of dozing off, but too much pain to sleep. Kind of dozing off here.